Episode 3 in terms of his movement, considering that in A New Hope, he was fairly tame, mostly just because of the way that film was shot and the training that took place towards the end of it. I mean, I think if Lucas had his way, that lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, spoiler alert, would have been a little bit more exciting. But I think just because of the way the film was made, the training of the time, and sort of expectations and action, that was a suitable lightsaber fight. But anybody who watches those films knows that, comparatively speaking, even to A New Hope, that lightsaber fight is very tame. Now, there was a rumor, and this is just a rumor. I'm not going to put it in the spoiler section because I have no proof of this whatsoever. This is just strictly a rumor that I heard a while ago. But there was a rumor that you would see Darth Vader in action in Rogue One, and he would actually be injured. And because he was injured, it would essentially retcon and explain why he was not quite as full of vigor in A New Hope, considering that movie takes place right after Rogue One. He would have been injured, would have had to have gone through, sort of being put back together again, and therefore that's why he was a little slow with his lightsaber blade in A New Hope. It doesn't sound like, because there hasn't been any further confirmation of that, it doesn't sound like that is going to be the case. It sounds like we'll probably end up getting Darth Vader in a couple of scenes, maybe one particular critical scene that we've seen him talking with director Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn, in some of the trailers, but other than that, it doesn't sound like we're going to be getting a lot. Now, here are some Rogue One Episode 8 rumors. Star Wars News Net put out a tweet earlier in the week that they were getting reports that Disney had not decided whether or not they were going to put an Episode 8 teaser trailer and attach it to Rogue One. Now, for those that remember, by this point in time, in 2014, so this would have been over a year out, and we're just over a year out now from Episode 8, we had a title for The Force Awakens, for Episode 7, and we had our first teaser trailer. Now, we got that first teaser trailer not because J.J. Abrams, the director, wanted to put that teaser trailer out. We got that teaser trailer because there was so much demand for Star Wars that they put out that 88-second quick clips teaser trailer that broke the internet when it was released. So there is precedent for doing this. How do I feel about an Episode 8 teaser before Rogue One? I say bring it on. I've heard so much back and forth on this in the course of this report being released earlier in the week. So many differences of opinions. On the one end, those saying that they won't do it, they're not going to put an Episode 8 teaser trailer out, wait until next year, wait until Rogue One is done with its marketing, sort of make the point that Rogue One needs to stand on its own. Rogue One needs to be its own thing. It's going to do just fine. You don't need to confuse the audience by putting out an Episode 8 teaser or taking away the popularity of Rogue One, so therefore they should just wait. And most people that say that they should wait until it's out of theaters, home video release, and then drop the Episode 8 teaser. I absolutely disagree. I think that the audience is smart enough to realize the difference. I think for those that are confused, that actually think in a couple of weeks they're going to go see Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and it's the next saga film, I think this will go and do a lot to sort of explain to them that's the case. I think you're going to get a lot of Star Wars fans and potentially even more people out into the theaters if you put an Episode 8 teaser out. And I don't know about you, but people get hyped. And I want to consume, and this is me personally, this is why I want it, but I want to consume everything. When I'm on a Star Wars kick, I am on a Star Wars kick. And I've been on a Star Wars kick. That's why I've been watching the movies. I get excited when I see a new trailer for Rogue One, something new and something fresh and footage I haven't seen before. I want to go grab A New Hope and throw it into the Blu-ray player and watch it. I want to go play my Star Wars Battlefront game. I want to go watch The Phantom Menace. Who can say that? And I actually did that the other day. That movie doesn't get enough credit, by the way. Can I just tell you that? I know people got a problem with Jar Jar, but I really do enjoy that film. So I say bring it on. Now, are they going to? I think they're going to wait to see how sales go. And again, now you have another set of arguments. Now you have another argument that you could set forth. It's a better way to put it. On the one hand, Disney could be waiting to see how Rogue One tickets sell. And if Rogue One tickets don't sell, they could use the argument, well, they're not selling as much as we hope. Let's tease that we're going to put an Episode 8 trailer only in front of the movie in order to help spur more ticket sales. Okay, there's logic there. 2, I think there's also logic to say that if Rogue One starts selling out and sells, is on pace, I don't think it's going to be, but sort of on pace, respective to the fact that it's a risk, it's the first spinoff film. If it sells enough tickets and they're excited about it, why not bring the hype level up and get Episode 8 out in front of as many eyes as possible for it? So I think the logic goes either way. But I'm not a studio executive by any stretch. So I just know that I cannot wait to see Episode 8 teaser footage in the form of a trailer. And again, just one more argument on that. See, to me, that makes people want to see Rogue One more. You see the trailer for Episode 8, you're reminded of The Force Awakens. It gets you more into that Star Wars emotion and spirit. And that's what so much of this is about. It's kind of like Wall Street. So much of it is driven on speculation, right? And emotions and feelings. I think you can tap into that. And it's one thing, okay, there's another argument. See, maybe I should have been an executive. Here's another thing. I also think it matters because Rogue One, as I've mentioned before, doesn't have that nostalgia. Well, no, wrong word. It doesn't quite hit you in the feels. Episode 7 did, and Episode 8 now hits you in the feels. Episode 7 hits you in the feels because I'm getting Han Solo. I'm getting Luke Skywalker, although we didn't know right until the end. Spoiler alert. I'm getting Chewbacca. I'm getting an aged Princess Leia, but it's still Princess Leia. I'm getting, C-3PO and R2-D2. It hits you in the nostalgia feels. Now with Episode 8, it's going to hit you in the, Force Awakens feels. Ooh, Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo. Those are all things that people are going to immediately latch onto. Rogue One still is lacking that because we haven't met these characters yet. So get them in the feels, right? Give the audience what they want. I think it would be amazing to drop an Episode 8 trailer right before Rogue One. And people have been saying doing it after Rogue One, doing it as a post-credit teaser. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. You want people walking out of that theater talking about Rogue One. You don't want people walking out of that theater talking about Episode 8, which is what they would do if you went and put an Episode 8 trailer at the end of the movie. So, what do I think is going to happen? I don't know, man. I'm just hoping I can get my tickets coming up here in about 5 hours. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears. I was going to hit a sounder for you, but I don't see one on here that I wanted to hit. Let's go here. So I sat down and watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, almost back to back, over the course of like 2 or 3 days. I forgot how much I love Empire Strikes Back. That movie is so stinking good. But I do want to make some comments about Return of the Jedi. I read an article a long time ago, a number of years ago, it was basically, all the things wrong with Return of the Jedi. And it was an article that went and broke down how it was a rehash of the other films. There are a lot of people that consider Return of the Jedi to sort of be akin to what The Force Awakens was to the original trilogy. They say the Return of the Jedi is to Episode 4 and Episode 5, meaning they just kind of went over, old ground. It opens up with the Star Destroyer coming over camera, and I've mentioned this before, but for the sake of what I want to mention, I'm going to bring it up again. The Star Destroyer coming in, over camera at the beginning. You're getting another Death Star. The end of the film, a similar thing happens, right? I don't personally feel that way, okay, about Return of the Jedi. Those are different shots, dynamically speaking, in terms of what they're doing, what's going on within the film. I think it's cool. Return of the Jedi with the Star Destroyer that comes over the top of frame, like a beginning of A New Hope, for as iconic as that was. To me, it's another one of those, hey, we're watching Star Wars, man. hey, it's cool, it's different, it's going slower, it's near another Death Star. Ooh, the Death Star's under construction. The ending of the film, these movies are formulaic. I mean, look at The Phantom Menace compared to Episode 4, compared to Episode 6, compared to 7. I mean, a lot of the same things happen all the time. So I've never felt that way. Now, that's not to say I don't have a problem with Return of the Jedi. I do have a problem with Return of the Jedi. As a matter of fact, it might be, and I haven't quite decided yet, only because it has a lot of redeeming qualities and things about it that I think still supplant it. But of the 7 films released so far, it's coming in at number 6 of my least favorite, or at least in order of my favorite, and then The Phantom Menace. But there are moments when I watch Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace comes in 6th and Return of the Jedi comes in 7th. To me, they should have spent as much time and care upgrading Return of the Jedi as they did A New Hope. And I there's a part of me, and I've talked about, again, I'm going over old ground too, just like the movies. But there's a part of me that really wishes that they would go back and just do a special effects overhaul. You don't need to do much of anything to Empire Strikes Back. That's pretty much set, having watched it. There's still a couple of moments where I see some of the boxes with the compositing, but it's not so bad that it takes you out of the movie. A New Hope's pretty solid with the special editions. I'm okay with that. Return of the Jedi, though, it needs some upgrades in a really, really bad way. There's some compositing issues with that film. Some of the matte paintings are really, really, really shoddy. And watching it again, or watching it, a few days ago, I enjoy the film. Never a big fan of the Ewoks. The Endor portion of it, okay. It was okay, but it wasn't as unique as what we've seen in other movies, or didn't feel that unique. Love the final battle over the Death Star, the space battle and the battle over the Death Star 2 at the end, fantastic. Everything with the Emperor, Darth Vader, and Luke is fantastic. But there are some special effects moments in that film that just take me out of that film. And I know at the time they were pushing boundaries. They were pushing boundaries of matte painting, what they can get away with. But it seems to me, with the technology being the way that it is, and it mostly is reduced to some hanger shots. I know they did some CGI work at the beginning of the film. They added some banthas on the dunes in Tatooine when the sail barge is coming overhead, and they cleaned some of that up. But there are some matte painting issues, especially aboard the Death Star and the Star Destroyer, and then one at the end where they say goodbye to the Falcon, and it's so clearly a painting. I don't think they ever will, but I kind of scratch my head and go, why wouldn't you? Unless Lucas told them he didn't. And I'm really surprised they didn't do it on a first pass with the special editions. That seems like something that could have so easily gone and been corrected. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the compositing in scenes like that, when you're looking at actors, is difficult to do. Although, when you look at what they did with the addition of the Jabba the Hutt scene in A New Hope, if they were able to pull that off, why wouldn't they be able to go and pull off cleaning up some of those matte paintings and replacing them with some really good digital renderings? So, and it's just, I personally boil it down to, does it take me out of the film? And in those particular moments, it absolutely ends up taking me out of the film. And so when I watch it, again, there's enough redeeming qualities in the action and the story. But man, I really wish they would go back and fix some of those effect issues. And I'm surprised too. As a side note, it must be a generational thing, because I listen to a lot of different Star Wars podcasts, and a lot of these podcasters cite Return of the Jedi as their favorite, and I'm always surprised by that. And I can't help but wonder if it's because that's the first one that they saw as kids, maybe the first one they ever saw in a movie. Or because it was the newest one, it became the best one. Because there was a period of time, I think we're out of that time now, but there was a period of time where, because of special effects and what you could do and what you couldn't do, especially when you had trilogies, that the latter films ended up being somewhat more revered because the technology had kind of caught up to it. Where, certainly was the case for some movies that I enjoy, even though it may not be like the fan picks. And I've changed my view on that. For example, let me back up. I'm giving you an example. The Alien quadrilogy, okay? I know that